Now you're all bound to recognise this style of box, just like when we go to the shops and get a takeaway sandwich. But for those unusual shaped gifts, it's a great box to be able to do, especially if you're going to put an acetate window in like this, and just makes a slightly nice, unusual keepsake gift box. So you're going to start off to make the base box with a large piece of card which is 16.5 inches this way by 11.5 inches this way. And we're going to start by placing the shorter edge against the rest for box lid, which is the side that's on your left hand side, working with the handle at the top, which is how you should always be working. Okay, so first of all I want you to score at 4 3/4 inches, so that is just 2 little notches before the 5. 4 3/4, and then you're going to move a little bit further along and score at 9.5 all the way down. Okay, then I want you to rotate right through 180 degrees so that we're on the opposite edge, and we're going to score right down 1/4 inch. So it's just the second score line here, 1/4 inch all the way down. Okay, now you're going to rotate the card 90 degrees anti-clockwise, okay, so that you've got this narrow piece coming down to the bottom, and we've got your long edge against the side here, and we're going to score the top 2 sections only, so we're only coming up to where our second score line is here, and we're going to score at 4 3/4 inches, so again 2 little notches before the 5, and also 6 3/4 inches, so 2 little notches just before the 7. Okay, so that is the end of step 3. Now for step 4, without turning or flipping it, you're going to slide this over to box base. So what that means is you're going to slide over to the other side of the board. So instead of resting against this side, we're now resting against the right hand side, and you should have that little narrow section on the bottom still. Okay, I want you to score a 3 3/4 and 4 3/4, but only until you get to this line here where you meet the box that we've scored on the top. Okay, so you're going to come along to 3 3/4, so just 2 little notches before the 4, and you're going to go right up there, and then also 4 3/4, so 2 little notches before the 5. Okay, and what you should find is that 4 3/4 comes up and is almost in line with the line that we've scored here. Okay, now we're going to flip that over and do exactly the same again. So when I say flip, direct flip like this, so you've still got that very narrow piece towards the bottom, and you're butting up against box lid. Okay, and I want you to do the same again, so 3 3/4, so just a couple of notches, 2 notches before the 4, and then 4 3/4, so 2 little notches before the 5. Okay, and that's going to come up, and again, just like the last one, you should find that that should come up and just notch before it gets to the center part one there. Okay, so that's all of the scoring done for the time being anyway. So we're going to put the big score out of the way, and we're going to start cutting some of the sections away. So if you work with this section, so the very small tram line, to the side facing towards you, you're going to cut this out exactly as per the instructions. So we're going to cut away these panels here first of all, but we're going to then cut away also some gluing flaps. So you need to leave yourself this little part here. So when we come in from this edge, continue cutting and just cut yourself out a little flap here, and then we'll do the same here. Cut yourself out that section. So as I'm right-handed, I'm going to flip this over. It's easier for me to cut. So cutting up the score line. And coming along from here. Putting this part away, and then the same here. So next what you're going to do is you're going to draw some diagonal lines on from here right out to these outer sections. Now I find it's easier to score my diagonal lines on the Ultimate because it's got less lines for you to line up against. So if you just look at what we're doing here, we're going from the edge of this scored line right out to the edge of that one. So we're coming diagonally across. And you're going to do the same on both panels. So we're coming diagonally across. Just fold this in to make sure you've got that lined up perfectly. And the same on the opposite corner. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these away in their entirety. So again, if you're following this in the instruction booklet, you're following up to step 8 now. So it's just showing you that these ones will come away completely. Then with these two, what you're going to do is you're going to cut it away, but this needs to be a little bit smaller to go inside here. So what we're going to do is cut into this line and cut yourself a small sliver as though you were cutting a box notch. So I'll do that on both sides. So a small sliver for a box notch. And then cut your line away, but just cut it slightly smaller. So instead of cutting exactly on the line, you're just going to cut slightly inside the line. And it doesn't matter about being accurate here, because this is what's going to go inside the other piece. The other panel is the accurate one, that's the important one. So give them all a good burnish, and we're ready to start and glue it together. Now, in the instruction booklet, it talks about if you want to create an aperture, if you want to be able to see into your box, you might want to create an aperture in here. So you might want to cut this out at this stage, whether you want to die cut it or whether you just want to do some decorative cutting, but you would cut that out at this stage now. I'm just going to continue here so that you can see the rest of it coming together. So what you can see is this is going to go inside of here. So this is going to form our base, and then our lid is going to fold in just like a regular sandwich box would. All you'll need to do is make sure that these are deep enough cuts that it's not knocking off the edge, because it's quite a steep angle, that one. Yeah. So these will go on the inside. I'll do that taping first. Plenty of tape on, and notice I'm putting tape right up to the very, very edge, because I don't want when my inside of the sandwich box lid folds over, I don't want it to start getting caught on here. So this is where you need to get the accurate fold line there, and that's going to just sit inside there. And it's as though it's got a double walling, so it's nice and strong as well. And then you see with these, you might want to just cut them on more of a diagonal, just so that it all matches up perfectly. And then that is going to fold just like a sandwich box would, and is going to go perfectly on the inside. See that those sides are still catching for me a little bit there. You just need to make sure you've got them angled correctly. It's just because of the narrow angles that we're working with in here. There we go, so that's perfect now. And that front piece will fold in. And that gives you that perfect folded sandwich box.